All right, welcome to another episode from the Chart Reader. So, been a while since I've looked at SoundHound, but clearly the 20 moving average worries did happen for a third time here, right? So, I normally put a lot more weight on this line. I normally put a much bigger belief that this orange line will bounce up. Even with the resistance there, it didn't do it. And again, I'll talk about it, right? But saw it once, saw it twice, one more time so far, right? So LUNR is the next one I want to talk about. LUNR's got an interesting setup. Clearly didn't do it today, but in a lot of ways, it didn't fail by any means, right? I mean, everyone wants green, 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 green. It's one of my favorite catchphrases, right? But there are red candles in uptrends, right? And it's still trying, just needs a little bit more. And then Rumble. So Rumble finally escapes that 811 line yesterday. Today was a very interesting doji because of what's happening right now, which is earnings, right? So I don't know if by the time I get to Rumble, we'll start to see the after hours reaction, but I always say it. I don't always trust after hours. I've seen big reds turn to green and vice versa, right? So, but yeah, that's all going to be about the reaction to the earnings. So before we go any further and I give you more of my thoughts and opinions though, what are we going to do? Same thing we always do, right? We'll take a look at the daily and the weekly to see how these things are setting up short term. We have our 5 moving averages. There are horizontal support and resistance lines that I do draw manually myself. And then when we are done up here, we'll use the MACD, RSI, and volume as our lower indicators. Hey, really quickly, if you can please subscribe to this channel, share this video online with your friends, comment good or bad if you disagree. Look, anything you can do helps so much with these YouTube algorithms, but for real, just being here, giving me your time, oh, I am so grateful for it, all right? So let's get into SoundHound. And like I said, I think it's been a little bit since I've covered this thing, all right? So we were obviously hunting this $10 line. I talked about this channel being a really good channel, right? One thing that did happen is we did kind of run most of it after hours between this Wednesday the 13th and Thursday the 14th, right? So that 13th post-market to open was a pretty hardcore run, right? So in some ways that did fill it. I obviously did think we still had a shot to keep going because I was bullish on this Friday candle. I believe I've made a video since this Friday saying, oh, it was no longer as bullish as I was. But clearly, look, this was a big line, okay? And you get a good candle, can't confirm, good candle, can't confirm, doji drop, right? And when we are over all the moving averages, it does become important to start drawing some good resistances. And let's be honest, right? With a stock that has a history that's only this long, I don't want to say it's easy to draw good lines, right? But there's not that many green candles up here, right? So this was a good line to draw, right? It is one of those things where the line becomes a little more important when you don't have the moving averages, right? I started the video with it, and I'm going to say it again. Look, I always put the 8 and the 20 moving average together. I call them brother and sister. I call them best friends, whatever analogy you want to use. The 8 and the 20 should work together to keep a stock up, okay? My issue was the first run, right? So this is the beginning of January 23. We make a beautiful run. The entire time, all we're using is this green 8 moving average line. Once we lose it, the 20 does absolutely nothing. I've been calling it a hot knife through butter, right? It just completely loses that line, let alone the rest, right? Once again, I see the same thing. We make a decent run middle of last year, around June, July, right? Only using the 8 moving average to go up. Lo and behold, we fall below. It wasn't as hot knife through butter, but definitely never got back over it. And then, the loss continued, right? So as of this moment, I have to assume we're doing this again, okay? A stock remembers is something I've always said. Like, in roulette, the little plastic ball doesn't remember. If the little plastic ball lands on 17 reds in a row, it does not remember that. It is the same 50-50 minus the green colors for black and red, right? To me, that is not how technical analysis works. That's not how stocks work. SOUNDHOUND remembers this struggle with the 20. SOUNDHOUND remembers the struggle with this 20. It's like a basketball player who just got psyched out and can't make the simple free throw anymore. Like, it should be simple to get back over it, but unfortunately it's not. And it looks like we're about to death cross, right? We're about to go small under a big one. We don't like that. Death cross is obviously a bad word if it starts with the word death, right? So this is very much worrying me. And again, what happens here, right? I'm going to kind of go back to this. We end up losing it, staying horizontal until the 50 moving average gets a little closer, and then we basically lose it all, right? So in some ways, that's actually starting to happen. We've lost it. We're going horizontal. This is starting to get closer and closer. And hey, this kind of is that last line right here, right? We green, 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 red, 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 red is a real possibility, right? And you know, this line is let me just zoom out to see if it's a historical thing. I mean, it's not even really a super fantastic, because I was actually going to say before I even zoomed out, this line isn't even 50% of this one. I feel like I would want to lower it to almost here at this point, and that's essentially where the 50 seems like it's going to go. Like, I could probably raise it just a little bit, right? But like, it seems like 475 is where this is about to come. Like, green, 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 red, 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 green, 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 red, red, red is kind of what I'm seeing. And in those next couple days, I think the 50 will get here. And again, we just saw that get lost and then some, right? Even the other lines below didn't do much. So look, I'm still here assuming these two should hold. All right, the 100 and the 200 are relatively close to each other. They're the last ones. You can tell I just skipped the 50 because I'm not sure. I'm really, really not. That's telling me I can easily lose it. That's also telling me I can easily lose it, right? Like, this 50's been no magical line by any means, right? And we were, let me do this, okay? RSIs get really low. They come back to the middle, they go back down, they come to the middle, they come really low, and then all of a sudden it flips. It goes up and then middle, then even higher, then middle. I'm afraid we're about to come back to where we just were. And this is a stock that's had an RSI as low as 15 not that long ago. This is what, a little more than 6 months? That's rough. I'm not going to count the months, right? But we're at a 52. At the minimum, this thing can come into the 30s, let alone concerns of losing the 30s on the RSI, right? So I think 475 is making a lot of sense to me. I had very little faith in the 20, and so far that seems to be the case. I don't have a lot of faith in the 50. I don't, for literally the exact same moment that made me lose the confidence in the 20 I normally have, right? So, again, I know a lot of the longs are living at $2 and under, right? So, hey, even a drop to 5-ish, sub 5, is still 2x for most, right? There are a lot of new longs and new holders that came in because obviously NVIDIA, you know, BlackRock, this, that, and those, right? I will say, if you became a long holder and all of a sudden you're seeing some red, red, red in front of you, you never really were a long holder, right? Like, you've really got to ignore the day-to-day if you're trying to go long, all right? Believe me, that's the point. Over a long period of time, it kind of like evens out, right? And you can't see my hands, but I obviously did an up with my hand, right? If you try to make a swing, again, the moving averages, I've been talking about them for a while. I didn't have the faith in this, right? There were points of hitting eject well before we fell to the 6, and again, I'm smelling sub 5 based on what I'm looking, right? Like, that's a scary divergence in the MACD. I want the green going up, 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 not down, 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 away from the red, right? Again, I'm zooming in super hard, but I can see red above green right there. As I actually click there, if you look in the box over there, you can see the average 5 is 54 and the RSI is 52. Red is over green on both the MACD and the RSI, and clearly volume has completely done a 180. Right? We've seen a couple bad days of volume. It's not like, this entire run up from 2 to 10 was just filled with beautiful buys, right? There were days where volume dropped a lot. There were days where volume dropped a lot. Volume has not looked like this the entire run. And hey, to SoundHound's credit, this is a lot more horizontal than I would expect given the way the volume looks, but volume hasn't really broken the 50-day line. All right, my fear really would be one bad volume would lose the 50 moving average. Again, I keep zooming back and forth to these, but just took one candle to do it there. It just took one candle to do it there, right? So, and both were pretty big bad ones. I don't know if we're going to lose it. This 475 is either above or where it roughly should be, it being the 50, when the price gets down to there, right? But at this point, if we lose that, makes complete sense to me that we come down to a high 390s, if not 4. Okay, I still think these two should hold. I do, but just kind of looking at this whole little moment right here, right? This beyond this, right? Like once we gapped up and ran, there really weren't two beautiful back-to-back candles. That right there is probably the best 1-2 right there, right? I don't necessarily like. How do I say this? I'm not necessarily thinking we never confirm the 200 moving average. I don't really think I'm thinking that. Not that was like fantastic enough, but again, I think this ride up was pretty good. But yeah, I do think we flew through too many, and it makes sense that we're going to kind of come back. We should, like I said, hit this and bounce. Hopefully we never even come that low. Maybe 4 is the lowest we go, right? So let's take a look at the weekly really quickly. Look at this weekly, right? Look at this thing. Okay, a couple things are jumping out immediately. Number one, that's a pretty big doji on the weekly. Look, I know today's Wednesday on the calendar. Today is Thursday as a stock trader. Tomorrow is Friday as a stock trader. Our real Friday, the real actual Friday the 29th, there is no trading, all right? Normally the short week is Monday's close, not Friday. I don't know if that's like a little interesting twist or not. I haven't really put my finger on it, but like, this weekly candle is actually almost finished, and we're looking at a pretty interesting doji. The worst thing would be losing that 8 moving average starting next week. If this thing falls below 840, that's a scary green that could turn to a scary red. Again, look at that, right where I clicked right here, basically the bottom of this and the top of this, that's 390. I was just clicking at 396 on the daily, right? So I think $4 makes a lot of sense. And hey, even the weekly is actually saying 3 might be real. All of the lines are actually down here. And again, as much as I love hunting red to green, the other side of that coin is the red. You literally see it right there, right? So, yeah, look, I love parabolic stocks. I do. It is what it is. It's a double-edged sword. And hey, hopefully our hand is in the middle and not getting poked, right? So, let me know your thoughts. Let me know your opinions. I want to take a look at LUNR. Okay. This is an interesting chart, and I hope you see it before I even get to it, right? But right now, the goal is break all 5 and fly, right? So really quickly, if you can please subscribe, please share this video. It does wonders with the algorithms, all right? So LUNR is definitely on my radar right now. And yeah, I actually thought today would do a little better. I thought we would see an actual green day. Nonetheless, today isn't a bad candle, all right? So before I zoom in, and sorry I did, I actually wanted to zoom out real quick, and I'm going to keep zooming out. So I'm going to delete these lines, I think. I really only have 2, and it's kind of an ugly view from back here. So let's delete these, and I'll probably redraw some. So This stock is first off, it's a SPAC, right? If whenever I see something super tight, basically at the $10 line, my first thought is a SPAC. And the D-SPAC was amazing. The aftermath was horrible. We're kind of trying to figure it out right now, right? I think that's the easiest way to describe what's happened in the life of this stock, all right? I hope you see the line I'm about to talk about, the 200 moving average, all right? We obviously broke them all and flew. And I mean, look, this is a silly fly to say the least, all right? From there, we basically lose the line. Like, I mean, I just used the line, so I'm sorry to repeat myself, but like a hot knife through butter. We completely failed to bounce on the line. Look, we tried to do it once, right? We hit it, we got back up. Clearly, it was nothing, and we go, right? From there, we fail. You can even say that was a fail if you want. Complete nothing on that purple 200 line for well more than a year, right? We now kind of get into this early 24, and a lot of interesting things are starting to happen, all right? We test, we go, we bounce, we bounce, we bounce, we bounce, all right? So to me, the first sign of a moving average becoming a friendly line is it bouncing. All right, what used to be, and we literally just talked about this wall that we could not get over, no matter how hard, and that's it, not even close anymore, right? Like that was a pesky little line. That was worse than pesky. It was literally a nothing, because we still had a whole mess of other lines in between, right? When I see a stock actually bounce on a line, that's big. It is to me, right? We still need a little more, but I'm liking the change in the feeling right now, all right? There is a golden cross with the 50 moving average and the 200 right here, okay? Obviously, the 8 and the 20 are kind of doing this little dance, like there's a golden right there, but there was a death right there. That's kind of why I'm not talking about that one. But the 50 has been going down and down and down and down for a while. So the fact that it's actually made its way on up and it's actually golden crossed the 200, that is pretty big right there, okay? Hopefully all three of those start going up, because look, again, aside from break all five and fly, green, 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 red, 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 green, 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 like it looks like this thing wants to get to, I mean, almost 10, right? That's not even really half. I would put the line right there at 10.24. This is going to be a little bit hard of a line to break, because you can see it hit here once and it also hit here once. I loved that yesterday broke it. I really thought it was going to be an easy channel and a run up. Hey, as sad as I am that today was red, we're still over that same resistance, right? We're still over it. I'll take it. We're still over more than half of yesterday. Hey, I'll still take it. And look, volume is just all that's been missing. All right. Whatever happened right here, I really don't know what it was. Was this the one that actually went into space with NASA? Maybe. I don't even remember, right? I look at so many stocks and goodness, right? But there was some volume here, right? Clearly it's not that same volume. But I'm just going to kind of zoom in and just get rid of all those little outlier moments. I think it's easy to say there's definitely been better volume days than worse days since right here, since this early September, and that's basically when this little uptrend kind of held, right? So green, 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 red, 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 red could have been a lot worse if the 200 didn't go. I think as long as this stays over 673, we're good to go. I think as long as we stay over the moving averages, we're good to go. I make this very, very extreme joke, but you can hear the realness in it, all right? Long weekends are scary. Okay, imagine, and I mean, just you're putting all your money into a market that's closed, that if bad things happened on Friday, you can't do anything until Saturday. You can't do anything until Sunday's done. You have to wait till Monday, right? And your ability to find news faster than others doesn't help anymore, because there's now an extra if the CFO was caught stealing, if the CEO was underage, was with an underage child, like there are so many effed up things that people do, and that includes executives, right? So long weekends are scary. Okay, I think that's kind of adding to why this isn't popping much, maybe, but this is a good channel. I'm going to zoom out even more. Oh, interesting. This isn't as, there's a little bit of tightness in here. Yeah, I probably should draw that line. I think that 820 something is going to be something. I think it's a little closer, like right there. Let's put it right there. 840. I went with half of that candle. I think that's going to be the more important one. It looked like 820 was like a little closer to like the bottom of a couple stuff. Yeah, that's where that 820 was. I think I want to go with that 840. I like those three lines. I think that's a good 1, 2, 3 right there. Just needs volume real quick. Look, you can see the MACD is still in positive. MACD, both of them are still green over red. I wish they looked a little better. RSI was very high not that long ago. It literally kissed 92, right? So 67 still relatively low. Even if we go up to 80, the issue just is volume. Excuse me, a little hiccup there. Let me zoom in. What are we looking for? Let me put this. I think we're looking for about 20 million shares. All right. If I'm looking for 20 million shares traded in a 7-hour day, we need about 3 hours in that first hour, 6 million in that second hour. All right. That's what we're looking for. LUNR. I'm liking this thing. I am liking this thing. Yeah, we got up, we bounced, we're holding the 8 moving average. MACD is positive. RSI doesn't look bad on the weekly. I like the daily and the weekly chart. I do. Yeah, let me know your thoughts. Let me know your opinions. Let's take a look at Rumble. Is this Rumble? Yeah, this is Rumble. Interesting. Have not seen too much after hours. Little bit of a drop, it seems. Oh, interesting. Okay, why am I saying interesting? You know I normally don't care about post-market. So regular hours, the low of the day was only 817, okay? When I clicked post-market, I saw the wick drop a lot. And when I click, you can now see the low fell into that $7 range, 780, right? So something spooked the market, at least at one moment. Clearly it's recovered, but I think that could be an interesting telling sign. Again, I was expecting a little bit more of a move, but we'll talk about the technicals right now. But listen, Rumble is all about the earnings reaction that's happening right now. Okay, I have seen the best technical setups completely get destroyed and turn into nothing but days and months of red because of bad earnings. All right, this has a really good setup. I have been really bullish on Rumble basically since the beginning of February, and I know it's kind of just done nothing but horizontal, and really yesterday was kind of the best day, right? But this is a stock that stayed over the 200 moving average very well, just bouncing and bouncing and bouncing and bouncing and bouncing. Like that's not easy to do. And there were moments where it could have fallen a lot, fallen a lot, fallen a lot, fallen a lot. It never did. You know what I mean? So Rumble, that's a beautiful hold of the 200. Yesterday was an amazing break of the 811, and it literally ran above my next line up, right? I mean, there were some amazing things that happened yesterday, right? And I kept banging on this 811 drum. I mean, just look at it and look at it and look at it and look at it, right? Like, the issue really is, again, I'm going to say it one more time, all of these colorful lines up here, my little manual lines here, the colorful stuff, none of this matters. It is all about earnings, all right? I want to stress that our opinions of the earnings don't matter, all right? What matters is what the market thinks and how it confirms, all right? So what am I looking for? Okay, I'm zooming out a little bit just to take a better view. So if market reaction is bad, this is going to fall to 750. All right. I think 750 is 755, 760, whatever you want to call it, is a very much a real option. I think if the news is good enough, we'll come here. We'll come to 925. All right. 750 and 925. I think that's the good and bad extremes of the Rumble earning reactions. All right. Again, today is obviously Wednesday on the calendar. Today is Thursday as a stock trader. Tomorrow is Friday as a stock trader, because the real Friday is a no trading day. All right. So I think the long weekend adds to it. Yeah, that's kind of all I got to say. I'm telling you, I have no educated thoughts or opinions until I see what the market says, reacts, and confirms. All right. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know your opinions. Even if you disagree with anything I've said, oh, I appreciate you so, so much.